Hello, Kevin.
Hey, Shika, how are you?
I'm good. A very good morning to you.
Good day to you. Hey, listen, day two of espousal online South Africa. Oh man, I'm so excited.
How exciting is that?
Listen, you and your team have been doing an outstanding job. Everybody is so excited about everything. Day one was just absolutely amazing. I was blown away, and now we're gearing up for day two.
Yes, and day two is almost at its end already. I mean, it's been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal. Espousal Online South Africa. The response has been great. People have given so much love, and it's just too overwhelming, Kevin. It's just too overwhelming.
Absolutely. Good. Feeling good is what this whole event is all about. Let's face it, a wedding and people coming together is about love and it's about unity and it's about togetherness. And that's what we've been, with everybody that's been involved in the event so far. Very, very great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you so much to Kevin, yourself, and mainly Speaker Focus for supporting Espousal so much, and you for being such a great part of Espousal. I mean, it's all of you together who have helped us and made Espousal happen and made it where it is right now. So thank you so much to Kevin, Tina, and all the speakers from Speaker Focus. So much energy, and it's just great when you guys are on stage. I mean, hats off to you guys.
Thank you so much. We're proud to be a part of the event. And whenever you need us, we'll always be there for you.
And that means a lot. Thank you so much, Kevin. And definitely, this is just the beginning. As we always say, there's a lot more to come. So, with that, everyone, we have been listening to a lot about brides, bridal dress, bridal makeup, bridal this, bridal that. What about the grooms, right? So, this panel is going to be talking all about grooms. So, all the grooms to be, this is the place where you need to be there. It's all about grooming the groom. And the moderator for this panel is none other than Kevin T. Robertson from the Speaker Focus. Kevin is a top consummate speaker from and the CEO and co-founder of speakerfocus.com. Internationally recognized as America's leading focus expert, Kevin has delivered over 2,000 customized leadership programs since 1988. KTR teaches Fortune 500 clients across the US, toured overseas in 30 plus countries like North Africa and Italy. Successful companies like the International Association of Venue Managers, McDonald's, Burger King, Verizon, and over 100 companies each year invest in his teachings, booking him again and again. That is Kevin T. Robertson for you all. And Kevin, welcoming you here once again, and we are honored to have you here. The stage is all yours.
Absolutely. Let's get into it. I got my guys coming in here.
Hello, all the grooming the grooms panel.
Yeah. Let me just go ahead and jump right into this. Arvind, Johan, and Bryan, I want to thank you for joining me on the panel today. Listen, we're talking about grooming the groom. So I'm going to get some expert advice from all of you. What it's going to take to have the right kind of mindset if you're a groom. What does the groom have to go through? We're going to talk about not only from how they need to dress to impress at a wedding. We're going to talk about, the groom being a more prominent figure in the wedding, and we're going to disrupt some things and shake up the apple cart a little bit because this is what we're here to do today. So, gentlemen, with that being said, I'd like to everybody to just go around real quick and just introduce yourself, who you are from your company. Arvind, we already know you, so we'll start with you. So yeah, if everybody could just make an introduction. Okay, we'll start with Bryan. Bryan, just tell a little bit about yourself and who you are.
No problem. My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. First off, good morning, everyone. On our time it's the morning time, so good morning. I am Bryan Majors. I'm the owner of a company called Major Preparation, where the motto is putting in major work for major results, and that pertains to all parts of life. So no matter whatever you're doing, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, you have to understand that you have to put in the work in order to get the results. I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, born and raised there. And I'm the youngest of four African American men, where we all have high school diplomas, bachelor degrees, master degrees, and I have a PhD in common sense. One of the things that are missing a lot now is people don't have PhDs in common sense. Over the last few years, I was just able to really evolve within my businesses and help people magnify their excellence through the power of preparation. And right now I have a book called Training for Triumph. It's a phenomenal book. It's an Amazon #1 best-selling book that's, man, it's been really helping transform people's lives. Time for my company, for my brand. As you can see, we have a clothing line as well. So it's just at a phenomenal space where we're helping leaders really evolve and magnify their excellence and really take their minds to a new level.
Well, that's why we got you on the panel. Johan, please tell a little bit about yourself and your background.
I'm afraid I can't top that. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on here. Most definitely, I couldn't agree more. Like Shika said earlier as well, it's so refreshing just to have a panel of, guys on here, so that we can get back to the groom. At the end of the day, 80% of the weddings get paid from the groom's bank account in anyway. So I think let's pay it forward, See, Arvind's already laughing at me, but it's the honest truth. So my name's Johan from Johan Signature Events, Cosmetics, Weddings, and PR and Marketing. And I've been in the luxury industry for over 10 years. And as you guys know, our company slogan, it's in the details. And it's the small things that make the biggest difference in life.
Okay, I love it. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and jump right into one of the first questions. So the first question is, a lot of times that people think that the groom is not the main feature. Sorry, ladies, we are a big part of the process. It takes two to tango, so to speak. So let's talk about the other half of the partnership. Let's talk about from the beginning and the months of preparation that it takes to be a groom. Arvind, let's start with you. In terms of preparation of planning an event, sometimes 1 or 2 years in advance. The other half is often forgotten. So why do you think that is, and what steps can we take to change that, to make sure that the groom has more of a voice in these events?
Conventionally, it's always been like that. And this is one common thing across the globe, right? Wedding is always about the bride, for the bride's people, the groom and his family. And I include that especially from India, just come to attend the wedding. Happens to be that the groom is also on the dais, okay, and gets an opportunity to kiss the bride. But having said that, we really, really need to look into this. And I'm happy. It's been about 10 years now. There are so many places, so many boutiques, so many people who are looking into the groom's grooming needs, right? And this is something which is brand new. You see Johan here. I mean, he is a stunning example, I believe, of men who really take the trouble of grooming themselves, right? And this is something new. And I think we have to take this forward across the globe. And otherwise, the men are going to get left behind, right? Way back about 30 years ago, women had to do what they had to do. And there was this entire thing way back in 1972, where I think in New York, there was this whole thing called bra burning. And after that, the women actually came up and did a superb job. I'm not saying that men haven't, right? But we need to come back to that equal space now. And how are we going to do it? Back to you, Kevin.
Okay. All right. My next question is for Johan. Johan is an industry expert in this field of wedding planning, makeup, grooming, definitely preparing both sides for success on their big day. Johan, what type of insights can you provide to grooms that are out there that maybe are feeling that they are not as much of a part of it as they should be? What kind of advice or inspiration would you give to them to let them know, hey, you can get involved. You do have a voice in the process. What would you say to them?
Kevin, that's a very difficult question, my friend. As we know, the bride, they're like that, my friend. So it's very difficult because I think the grooms just want to keep the other half happy. That's why majority of the time they just give in. They don't want conflict. They don't want drama. They just say, yes, it's fine, even though it might not be their choice, or they would like something completely different. I think they just say yes and just go with it, go with the flow, to keep the groom or the bride happy. That's what they do. But I think, like Arvind said, things are busy changing, and I think more than ever, it is where, give the groom his 2 cents. At the end of the day, it's a unionship. It's 2 people coming together, and, they want to spend the rest of their lives together. So I think equal, input should be given from both parties, not just from the one side of this union. But yeah, I would definitely say from the guy's point of view, from grooming, look after yourself. We spoke about, makeup this morning as well in one of the sessions where, guys, there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup. There's no, I think, the metro male, things are changing so much, where it used to just be hairdressers and makeup artists and this and that for the brides. No more, things are changing. And especially, for photos, videography, make sure that you look perfect. And don't tell me there's one groom out there that doesn't want to feel special. I mean, it's his big day as well at the end of the day. And I think something that we're definitely forgetting is that the grooms are nervous as hell. They literally stress. It's not just the brides that's stressing,
Right.
and, I think this is where the brides also need to come in. Oh, Lord, I'm waiting for my phone to blow up. And I think this is one of the things where ladies take into account, yes, you stressed. Your bridesmaids are stressed, but the groomsman as well. And the groom, most definitely, because he is giving everything just to make your reality come true and, your dream day to be so special. So, yeah, I think definitely it's one of those things. Know your vows. Good Lord, know your vows. Definitely. And just make the bride feel at ease. Tell her you love her. We know months prior to the wedding, and even worse, the week before the wedding, brides go all over the show. It's like it's emotions, it's all sorts. So just keep them calm. Just chill. Have lots of tequila or wine. That helps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Arvin's gonna have a bottle ready for us when we come to India when all of this stuff is over with. So that's thank you, Johan, for your insights about that. These are all different ways in which you can groom yourself to prepare for your big day. Arvind talked about the old traditional ways of doing stuff, how the man is always seen, whether or not he's responsible for, going to the family and asking for the financial piece or taking on some financial burden himself. But guys, you don't have to be pushed out of the box. This is your day too. You should feel special. Johan provided some great insights. He deals with, people that are getting married all the time. This is his business. This is what he does. So he sees it firsthand. Now, the next question is to Bryan. So, Bryan, you are a top leadership speaker in the marketplace, and what you do is from a mindset standpoint of making sure people are prepared, and really grooming themselves for success, both personally and professionally. How do you feel like the impact has on a groom? Because they have a job to manage, like they have a career to manage on top of planning a wedding, right? So, in your opinion, Bryan, what do you feel can help them prepare for their big day, and grooming them for next level success?
I think first of all, it starts with life and business is goal setting. Most importantly, as you're preparing for this next level of life, it's important you have goals aligned mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritual goals. So that way you create some kind of clarity about your life so that life doesn't get too overwhelming. It doesn't feel like you have to do and accomplish so much right away that if you have time to properly prepare, you'll be able to prevail with clarity and precision versus without being prepared, like things can go kind of any direction. Things can unravel and there's not enough time in between to be able to bounce back or to be able to pivot or to be able to make adjustments. But giving yourself proper time to prepare is key. And then most importantly, part of it that I love this addition problem is positive thoughts plus positive actions equals positive outcomes. At all times, we have a choice to be positive and negative each and every day, no matter what happens to us, no matter how things are going. So say that there may be a missing, whatever the case may be at the wedding or leading up to the wedding. If you have time to prepare, you'll be able to make adjustments. But even if it doesn't go as planned, that positive thought can turn to a positive action, which is still create a positive outcome. So most importantly, in regards to managing yourself, managing your family, managing your next career, when you're involved in this type of new level, is that you give yourself that proper time to prepare yourself, and you most importantly have those goals aligned mentally, so you create that mental clarity and mental stability no matter what, outside of your career, outside of your job. If you can't win within, you can't win for nobody else. So if you're not right within, you can't win for anybody else. And then physically, emotionally, and spiritually, it's important for men to prepare properly and have goals aligned to be able to have something to attack.
Okay, great. Well said. Well said. Okay, I want to throw the next question to Johan. Johan, we have one of our we have a question that just popped up in the chat from Lanice, I believe it is. How do you groom a groom that seemingly doesn't he seemingly doesn't care as long as she's happy? You know, that's the question to you. How do you get a groom involved who seemingly doesn't care?
I think that's a very important question, because I mean, I've seen it several times where the groom, they seem like they don't care, but they actually do. But it's one of those things that they just don't want to say anything, you know, because whatever the lady wants, she's going to get in anyway, you know. So whether, you know, they feel their input's invaluable, you know, it actually isn't. I would say, you know, when you start the process of, you know, planning your wedding and your big day, you know, go to suppliers together, you know, see the wedding planner together, sit with your budget initially together. So just to get the feel there, you know, from the start, go, you know, and yeah, just get them excited, you know. Pick a stupid example. If you, for example, hate yellow for your wedding day, pick it and get their input. Of course, you know, that's how you're going to start testing them in a different way. And just, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, I just want, you know, each and every person, like what we do with our weddings that we do with the brides and the grooms, is that we love involving, you know, the mothers-in-laws and the fathers-in-laws, because at the end of the day, you know, it is a celebration and it's a family, two families coming together as one, you know. So I think people should never, ever forget that.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your insights. Let's move on to our, well, you know what? I want to open that up just a little bit more, because it's going to segue into the next question. So I know that what Johan just shared is absolutely right. You know, guys, you got to get involved. If you want some equal say, you know, I always say, you know, communication equals negotiations. And as long as you're communicating, you can successfully negotiate, because everything in a wedding needs to be negotiated. So I can remember what Johan said. I can remember, you know, we had a $50,000 wedding, and I can remember going to all the vendors, doing tastings, you know, picking out the harpists. You know, we decided on that stuff together. Some stuff I threw out there, she said she didn't like. Some stuff I said I didn't like, but I felt like I was part of it. Now, if you sit on the sidelines, guys, you're not going to feel like you're involved. So Arvind, the question to you is, like, we're men, but we don't like dealing with our emotions, right? We think it's soft, right? We think it's we're insensitive. Like, the lady has to feel everything. Well, guess what? I got feelings. I'm hurt too. I can cry. If you like Johan said, I may not like the color yellow. Well, damn. What about the color I like? So Arvind, how do you manage? That's the key word here. Manage emotions through that process.
So I'm going to come back to the question, and I want that question to be popped up again from Lonis. The question that she has asked is, who seemingly doesn't care as long as she's happy? The answer to that is, obviously he cares that she's happy. That itself is a big thing, right? He cares enough that she's going to be happy, and that is men cannot emote. Other than the 4 men on the screen whom I know very well, they know how to emote. But men, as a rule, they don't know how to emote. They are all bottled up. Women, on the other hand, by and large, emote. So it is, I think, more to do with your actions. What is he doing for you, right?
Yeah.
And he's showing his love, right? He may not say it. He may not hug, how do you call it, public display of affection. He may not kiss you in public or hold you in public. But there are men like that. And most men, at least in India, are of that nature. They cannot emote. Okay. So I think that is where we need to understand the question. I hope, Lonis, that was good for you.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit now. Let's get to the fun part. So it doesn't get out of control. Let's go to the bachelor party. What should we do? What shouldn't we do? You know, how do we have fun and get our last hurrahs before we are officially married? Bryan Majors, let's start with you. Any insights on bachelor party so it doesn't get out of control?
Yeah, first and foremost, it's that bachelor party. I feel as though it's definitely that time for the groom to have a phenomenal experience, a phenomenal memory. But it's also, my biggest thing about bachelor parties is the groomsmen being those guys who are the security, who are accountable for the groom having a phenomenal time, but also accountable for the groom not doing anything out of character in regards to disrespecting his wife to be, his fiance. Those are really important keys. Have a phenomenal time, create amazing memories. But it's important that that groomsman is super safe. The groom is super safe, and the groomsmen are holding that groom accountable for all of their phenomenal times. Take pictures, have a phenomenal time, enjoy the moment, but it's still also making sure that the groom is a man of character, a man of integrity, and holding that man accountable as well.
Absolutely. Johan, next question is to you. Now, in terms of preparation of grooming, you know, your attire, you know, those are difficult decisions to make a lot of times. I know I've been a celebrity talk show host, so I'm used to having makeup on in front of the camera, as you mentioned before. That's not like, we're not soft because we're putting makeup on. Maybe your pictures are going to come out better that you're going to see for the rest of your life if you do, in fact, wear some makeup. It just takes the shine off of your face and it makes the photograph even better. We don't have to have a ton of it on like the female, obviously. But that being said, talk about the selection of clothing down to the shoes. Where does a groom go to make these decisions? You know, how do you help your clients feel more comfortable about making those decisions so they feel great on their big day as well?
Well, with regard to that, it all goes back to the groom or the bride, because taking that into account, you need to fit in with her dress or with his suit or tuxedo. So if you take that into account, you know, that is also going to be, okay, she's done the selection process, she's got her dress, and then the afterthought comes, okay, what are you going to wear? You know, it's not, oh, here's your suit and I'm going to pick a dress to, you know, fit in with you. That's never the case. You know, so I think it's one of those things where if you have a look at the grooms currently, they always wear something that just, I mean, she can walk down the aisle with a red dress, black dress. And I mean, the trends are changing, you know, versus your traditional white dress. And I think the guys just, they don't really care, you know, and which is, it's kind of sad, you know, because for me, you know, I pay as much attention to the groom as to the bride, because I want equal parties to look absolutely phenomenal on their big day, you know, which is important to me, because I mean, how would I feel, you know, one day when I get married, you know? So it's, so it's one of those things where, you know, the shoes, we want, you know, both parties need to complement one another. You know, if you've got this beautiful designer gown, you know, the groom needs to step up and level up to it, you know, and actually, I mean, you don't want him to look like, okay, he couldn't afford anything because everything went into the bride's, you know, gown. So, you know, you're laughing, my friend, you know, that's true. You know, so I just really, it's important to me, you know, from grooming, you know, I mean, getting a haircut, I mean, nose hair, ear hair, you know, I mean, nails, you know, just absolutely everything, smelling good on your wedding day, you know, beautiful fragrances. I mean, watches, cufflinks, you know, a beautiful tie, a bow tie, you know, it's all of those accessories that at the end of the day are going to make the groom stand out. Because, I mean, he only has so many options at the end of the day. You know, so I mean, my opinion would always be, you know, the whole James Bond look. I mean, that's always classic. That it's beautiful. That goes with anything. And yeah, I mean, a tall, dark, and handsome man never killed anybody, my friend.
Oh yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Arvind, let's. I'm going to throw another question to you as we're getting ready to bring the panel to a close. Let's talk about rest. You know, I think a lot of times we may stay up late for the bachelor party. I remember the guy that used to cut my hair many years ago. He was so trashed at his bachelor party that he showed up still trashed at the wedding, right? Like it took that long for the alcohol to wear off, you know, because they had an early wedding, and he was just, you know, he threw up at the wedding. It was a disaster, right? So let's talk about rest, and just so your nerves are as calm as possible on your big day. Let's talk about maybe like a week out before you get married. What type of tips would you give grooms so they don't burn themselves out, and so they are fresh on their big day?
To start with, I'll go back to the previous question with your permission.
Sure.
Advice to grooms is most men are not, you know, mature enough or not ready enough to get married. It takes time for a man. A man, woman being of the same age, the woman is intellectually definitely much more intelligent. Okay, till the age of 35, 40, and then I believe things change a bit. But 6 months before the man gets married, he needs to get into a routine, an image consultant, a, 1 hour at the gym, okay, and all of that. But coming back to the bachelor party, as we call it, if you are a drinking man and you're able to hold your drink, go for it. Have that night as the last night of your life, at least for 2, 3, 6 months, till things kind of come back to normal, right? Because that is the time you will really need to and have to and should spend with each other. You already know each other, but you need to give yourself that much time. And then things come back to, everybody goes back to their routine, right? But give yourself 6 months, people. 6 months. You need to prepare for this wedding that you want so much. Okay, and that is physical, mental, financial, psychological. You need to be totally there, because this is, I wouldn't call it a job, but look at it as a job and you will do it right.
Great answer. Great answer. Okay, so gentlemen, I need all of your final thoughts. Bryan, I will start with you. We'll go to Johan and we'll wrap up with Arvind. On the actual day, Bryan, of the wedding, you know, what information would you recommend to grooms to be the best leader possible? Because we are considered the head of the household, and you know, with all the great information that Johan shared with just grooming yourself and making sure you have that James Bond look, you know, talk to us and give your final thoughts about the type of leader that you want to be going into that union.
I think it's just the leader of a person who's a leader of preparation, leader of power, leader of execution. I think my final thoughts, so I don't get too deep in, because I really can dive into stuff like this, is let's just be a stand-up man of integrity, a stand-up man of confidence and courage, and clarity, and be clear. Execute on like your family, execute on your goals, and most importantly, on that day is positive thoughts plus positive action equals positive outcomes. There's so much power and positivity, and that day needs to be nothing but soul positivity, so it can have the momentum of that to carry you through your next level of living.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bryan. Johan, Bryan talked about family, and you talked about it prior to in one of your previous statements, that it is a bonding of both families coming together. So on the day of the wedding, what are your final thoughts? What kind of mindset should the groom be in? How should he manage his emotions on the morning of the wedding? What should he have on his mind going into his big day?
I think going into the wedding, he needs to understand that, listen, this is the person that he's going to spend the rest of his life with. And knowing when he sees his bride, when you see her, when she stands in front of you, whisper to her, it's me and you, just us two. At the end of the day, both emotions are running so high at that point of time that you are so stressed about the audience and your guests versus anything else. And I think just take back, why you guys are here, in front of one another. And, just tell her, in the morning, tell him, tell her that I love you, just get the nerves calm and just know that, listen, yes, the two of us, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your kind words and your insights, both of you, Bryan and Johan. Arvind, we're going to end this with you. A wedding and grooming yourself and preparing yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually, it is a process, right? And planning a wedding is a process. You have caterers and vendors and florists and, tailors and many other people that have to make the cake. I mean, there is a long line items that needs to be paid, number one. And in preparation of the big day, what final thoughts would you have of the actual logistics of the event? Everybody just grooming themselves to make sure everything goes according to schedule on that day. What are your final thoughts on that?
Hire Johan or hire me?
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's real easy, right? So
it's done. It's done.
Kevin, you need to understand, I'm going to be moving to India, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take another couple of seconds. I'm sorry.
No
but,
problem.
And this is something that I learned through the day today. And this is from one of the previous panels. Okay. Earlier, people would say, no, you complete me. Okay. So that is what love is all about. You complete me. And this is absolutely wrong, right? You have to know who you are. Your partner has to know who he or she is. And then the union is going to be perfect. If you're going to be so tilting towards each other, it's not going to work. But coming back to the main day, get the image consultant 6 months before, get your routine planned, get everything, get a good wedding planner and trust him or her totally, because these guys are professionals and they will do a fantastic job.
Absolutely. Great. Listen, gentlemen, I really appreciate all of your insights and your time. On behalf of Bryan, Johan, and Arvind, I'm Kevin T. Robertson, your proud moderator of this panel, Grooming the Groom for his big day. Guys, remember that you are very much a part of it. Take the advice of these gentlemen that you just heard and enjoy your day, because you sure deserve it. Thanks so much for your time, and God bless each and every one of you.
Thanks, my friend. Blessings.
Thank you, gentlemen.